Let me guess. You want to talk? Was there something you want? Ah!
不測の事態に備えろ。時間の問題だ。分かった。
それでデルフィースに行くべきだと思ってるの。
あなたがアルゴニアから何を教わってるかなんてもう一言だって聞きたくないの。ノルドとは何かを学ぶべきよ。
でもママ、
彼はかなりまともな農民よ。農作業のやり方を教えてもらうといいわ。力になれることは正直あまり知らないわ。私たちは釣りをするぐらいで他の人たちとはあまり関わらないの。
気持ち悪くて
帝国やストームクロークを怒らせずにいれば戦争とは無縁でいられるしね。
その言葉を信用しなければならないな。
また今度。
ねえ、この辺りじゃ見かけない人ね。あなた
Besides
も
combat
鉱山
and
労働
training,
者なの？
I do enjoy a good read every
また
now
今
and
度
then.
7
After all,
months
knowledge
or
is
so.
power.
Maybe 8 if I'm lucky. Oh, just counting the months I have left to live. I used to count by the years, and I suspect there'll come a time when I count by the days. It's a talent I have, sort of like reading palms. But I do long for the days when I never bothered to count. I'm sorry. I haven't properly introduced myself to you, child. My name is Iris the Elder, although it wasn't always meant to reflect my age. I was once one of 2 irises in the village where I grew up, long before I moved to Darkwater Crossing. One was about a dozen years younger than I, just a babe when I was a girl. So she was Iris the Younger, and I was Iris the Elder. And the name stuck with me ever since. Not the mine, that's for sure. I came to this part of East March for the hot springs. I've heard they have the power to rejuvenate. I'm not searching for a miracle or a cure for old age. Just a little more time to enjoy it.
多分その通りね。
Your words are kind, but a woman of my years is more of a nuisance than a helpful member of the community. I try to do what I can, help cook or look after Refna, but as much as I hate to admit it, she's at an age when I can't keep pace.
モローウィンドに行きたいと思ったことある？そうです。
Good people and an eclectic group. I think Refna is quite blessed to be surrounded by such diversity. Dekitha's taught her how to swim, and Sondas is twice the man her father ever was. And I find it rather adorable how she scurries around with that pickaxe too. It's good to see young folk take an interest in such honest labor. True, and it often isn't. Not by Nords. But I wonder sometimes if when we raise a toast to the miners, we raise our cups to an idea. The same is true for our warriors and our farmers. We spend so much time honoring some abstract notion of what a laborer is, what a warrior is, and we forget these are individual people. People with names and families, proud Nord men and women with hopes, desires, and fears. When you conflate them all, you forget they are many. So if you wish to honor the miners, honor them by name. Tormir and Saunders, Annika and Werner, and Dekithas too, were he still here. Oh, yes. I've tried health potions and visited some of the most renowned healers in all of Skyrim, but it's almost like everything is being forced back into place. It feels so unnatural. That may be fine for someone like yourself, but I much rather prefer a good soak. All my aches and pains seem to float away. The hunters discourage most of the wildlife, as does the heat from the spring. They also provide a few spirits to help pass the time. I need a bit of wine before I can get over the embarrassment, you see. These hunters, their bodies have such sheen and vigor, like a marble table burnished to a perfect polish. My skin, however, is as piebald as a horse and as wrinkled as an old tunic stashed away at the bottom of a chest. May sound a bit odd for an old lady like myself to worry about such things, but while I may be old, I'm still a woman. And a woman likes to feel beautiful. I appreciate the compliment. They say females are the harshest critics when it comes to beauty, and thus your words are strong and my gratitude deep. Of course, when I was young, that criticism would take on a different form. It'd turn to jealousy and envy. There were some women that wanted to chase me out of the village for the way I supposedly taunted their husbands. But they didn't need to. I never stayed for long. As a courier, I was always running from one village to the next, gone as swiftly as I came. Oh yes, but they did come in handy when young people disrespected their elders, because we could use the tablets to smack them across the face. Partly out of tradition. The first couriers were messengers for rebels and brigands, for whom secrecy was paramount. A horse tends to attract attention, especially those of the guard placed outside the stables. The couriers of old were master pickpockets. They could blend in with the crowd and slide the missive right into your tunic as you passed them. The recipient wouldn't even notice the folded note in their pocket until they were halfway undressed and readying for bed. Nowadays, though, I suspect it's more a matter of cost. Bales of hay and sacks of oats cost a lot of coin. Stamina potions, on the other hand, are relatively cheap. I suspect the time saved isn't worth the maintenance. And if a horse were to die on the road, you'd lose a significant investment. But if a courier were to die, you could easily replace him at no cost. I don't know when horses became more valuable than people, but such is the irony of freedom. It was evening star, 2 hours to midnight. Me and the other couriers were at the inn, picking snow off our boots, ready to call it a night. The snowstorm that night was the fiercest in years, and the inn was densely packed. Not a soul in East March was outside that night. So we thought. The door flung open to reveal a young Nord man, covered head to toe in thick furs and thicker snow. The innkeeper sat him down and gave him some hot tea.
私と同じようにこの美しい聖域の光景と音を楽しむために来る人だ。実に素晴らしい。そうではないか。エルダーグリーン聖域にようこそ。何か質問があるならアスタに。
Yes? Did you want something? Wow, have you ever seen anything so amazing? Why are there more people here? Tours must be organized, paintings commissioned. As adventurers, it's our duty to show people this tree. Yes, dispatch the couriers. Have the Jarls make a decree. To each and every citizen of this land, I say, open your eyes and behold its beauty. Ma and Pa fought for the Empire during the Great War. Although I don't see what's so great about it. I'm sure it's over my head. They're the ones who taught me everything I know. About battle, that is. It's not like they had to teach me about exploring. That I taught myself. Although growing up in the Reach helped, first thing you learn is how to deal with heights. After that, dwarven ruins are a cinch. The barracks have charm, but I want fresh air and blue skies and forests that are woollier than a mammoth. Although I guess the barracks is kind of like a forest. There's a lot of wood and bugs and things. We used to call it Termites Reach. I found clubbing things with a mace is pretty effective. And also pretty ugly. Not pretty at all, actually. As a soldier of Dibella, I have a reputation to uphold. Dibella's reputation. Beauty, even in battle, is very, very important. And I'll die with a sword in my hand before I live with a mace. That happened before I was born. But I'm not a green thumb, honest. I'm 5 months past a woman grown. I've killed a bear, drank my first mead, and can pitch a tent if you need it. Oh, that didn't come until after I became an adventurer. I was deep in some nameless cave, winding my way down toward the bottom of the earth. Suddenly, the passage opened up, and I found myself in this hidden grotto, with a pond and trees and holes in the roof. I don't think my eyes closed for another week. I couldn't breathe, I couldn't sleep. The beauty I witnessed was 10 times more important. All right. Oh yes, the water, the animals, the trees, all clay which Dibella mold into indelible art, and at the heart of every explorer is an admirer of that beauty. Mine? But we barely met. Oh gods, are you going to show me your amulet of Mara? Do I say yes? Things are all moving so fast. The tree, yes! You were talking about the tree. Of course you were. You think I own it, but alas, I do not. Nobody does. What exactly happened? I feel dirty just asking. Not really. Those priestesses do enough of that on their own. It's not like you poisoned a lake or something. That I wouldn't forgive. I don't know. Do you think you'll be alright? I've heard of people who drink so much they black out. Supposedly it's a sickness of some kind. I would pray to Dibella you didn't catch it. Well, my Uncle Igram used to say he was married to a goat. But it turns out he was talking about his wife. I guess we should head on over to Rorikstead and see what we can find out. Farewell. You spread word of Dibella. Of course. What do you think all this is? It's more valuable than any gold coin. Now if I find a gold coin, and I do find them often, bags of them in fact, I deliver it straight to the donation bowl. I even have a system. For every 10 gold pieces, 7 goes to the temple, 1 goes toward food and shelter, and 1 goes to alms for the poor. Oh, I find them everywhere. In streams, under rocks, even in food barrels. I think Zenithar is trying to tell me something. Can you imagine 2 gods fighting over my services? Oh, it's almost scandalous. But tell your mother, tell your friends, I would never leave Dibella. Why yes, I learned how to play the lute when I was little, although I'd much rather play the harp. I'm sure that's what Dibella would want. Until next time.
火山のツンドラ帯みたいに荒れ果てた場所にこんなに美しいものが存在できるなんて驚きだわ。こんな美しいもの。あなたはエルダーグリーム聖域にいる。キナレスの与える美の小さなきらめきの場。素晴らしい場所でしょ。そうよ。でも私の覚えている限り近づけた者はいないわ。見ての通りよ。エルダーグリームの根は大きくて遠くまで伸びているから幹に近づけないの。信じられないかもしれないけど、エルダーグリーム自身が敬意ではなく恐怖を感じるあまり根を持ち上げるっていう武器の噂があるの。噂は本当だったのね。お願いだから木を傷つけないで。ろくなことにならないわよ。
something to say. Yes, I'm listening. What's on your mind?
I'd like to think that one day I could trust you.
I'm all ears. Well, not literally, of course. Let me guess. You want to talk? How can I help you? Farewell. Is that skooma in your pocket? Yes? Of course. Where do we go first? North, south, left, down? It doesn't matter. Wherever we go, beauty and adventure await. Let me guess. You want to talk? There's a cave here. Maybe we should check it out. Literally, of course.
Pa says if you see anything you want, take it.
Boy, 危ない!
Up for a little hunting?
Orchard is a good example of classic North hunting. We still have a long way to go. Waiting just around the corner. Which corner? All of them! Onward we march for Tabella's glory! Yes, onward! Only in separate directions. I guess what I'm saying is, safe travels, friend. How can I help you? You would? Of course you would. Just give me a moment. you wanted? But I was having so much fun. Maybe next time we'll have some real fun.
Remember, smart. Miss the flowers back home. Affirmative. See me again in case you need another mercenary. Be mindful. Vigilance is the key to the path to victory. Sure. To more adventures then.
Was there something you wanted? Let me guess. You anything to please you. Well, maybe not anything. What is it? I'm glad that's sorted.
エルダーグリームの重機を持っていますわ。素晴らしいわ。木を回復させるのに使えます。手を貸してくれて本当にありがとうございます。私の知っていることなら喜んで教えるわ。あなたには神々の恵みがあるのね。
私の夫を探しているって。夫のなぜもしあったら結婚は相手あってのことだって教えてやって。
もうすっかり綺麗。
What's on your mind?
焦るな。傷が癒えるには何が必要だ。
Jur? Jur?
Was there something you wanted? Could enchant your sword. What? I spent some time at the college in Winterhold, but...
さあ入って。ちょうど火を起こしたところなの。座って体を温めてください。
やあ旅人、こんな古い場所のか。ずいぶん前からここにあるよ。曽祖父が建てたんだ。彼が事業を始めて俺まで代々伝えられてきたってわけさ。いやそれほどでもない。旅人もたまにはいるが、大体はうるさいもんじいさんだけだな。きっと人生の苦い思い出を飲んで忘れようとしてるのさ。
助けてほしい。
もちろんあの多くもいるな。長期の滞在者だ。彼が支払った分でこの場所を休業できるほどだ。あいつか、バラブロブだかマラクロブだか、ちょっと変わった多くの名前だったと思うが、でも口は達者なやつだ。全く不作法なところもないし。作家だとか言ってたな。それがどんな仕事だか知らないが、かなりのゴールドを稼げるに違いない。数ヶ月先まで支払ってくれてるからな。普段はブラブラしてることが多い。湖に行ったり、時々ワインセラーにある市販のワインを味見したり。見てる限りでは何でも好きなことをやってるようだ。
Of course.
Do you... Hello, right? Don't worry about me. I'll be fine.
Oh, good. Sometimes I think about finding myself a partner, someone who can keep up with me. But then again, they're usually just as much trouble as the customers. Good day. Would you like
I'm
some
tired.
助けてほしい。
Of course. I'm always here to lend a hand or pour a drink.
ありがとう。さあ、受け取ってくれ。
Oh, isn't that sweet? There's plenty more where that came from. Just give a shout when you're ready for another round.
I do love it when they try to resist, but come on now, who could resist these moves?
I daydream about an adventurer who will whisk me away from this tavern life.
You are such a show-off. Yeah, okay. I know that looks weird and amazing, but it's important to let people know that you are superior. It's for their own good. Otherwise, they would have no one but the gods to admire.
ちだ。
Well, hello there, honey. What brings you to my humble little corner of the tavern today?
助け欲しい。
Of course, I'd be happy to help.
ありがとう。さあ、
Thank
受け取ってくれ。
Here, this is for you.
本当にありがとう。
お部屋へご案内します。こちらへどうぞ。
Hold on. Are you alright? You look like you got ataxia. I'm not a priestess, but I did read Wizards back in the year 199. Well, good for you. Wizards was a terrible book anyway. The name's Colin. What can I do you for? Not much of a talker. No, Morris, that one's a talker. He won't shut up about his dead wife and the corpse he calls his manhood. Well, he's got his moments. I come to this inn and first thing I ask Hadwin is what you got to drink. And Morris says, I hope you like this. Poor Hadwin. His swill ain't so bad, but with these socialist drinkers around, spreading gossip like a midwife, it's no wonder this inn is so dead.
I should really start saving up for a new dress.
That's an understatement. Bards like to exaggerate. Yars like to exaggerate. Morris will step on a cockroach and tell you that he slayed 12 dragons. Pretty much. Got the face for it anyway. I was too cute to be a tavern wench and too ugly to be a brothel whore.
Something lacy.
And no, I don't have the two mixed up. At least I don't think I do. Which one is Hadwin?
I've let a few secrets slip about my voluptuous figure while pouring
Is
drinks
that
on
what he is?
waitress.
I guess as much him keeping the inn and all. I did sort of hope he wasn't. It would explain why he's so awful at it. Okay, so I lie. I talk. But I also get things done. So, if you got things need slaying, I gotta steal to slay 'em. Well, more like you got the iron. Rusty iron, if you want to be particular. Rusty enough to give a bandit a real dirty nick. A nick that might fester and kill him. Although it doesn't really cut as much as it clubs. But if you smack him hard enough, they die all the same. Well, this is gonna sound pretty stupid. Because it is. It's pretty much the stupidest thing in the history of stupid ways a person can answer the question, what are you doing, stupid?
Wanting to learn how to fight. Maybe I should join them.
Horkers. Yeah, that's right. Horkers. Told you it was stupid. See, I have this friend, and he's mad about horkers. Just loves them. Loves to eat them, that is. Anything else would be
The
too
beggar's
weird.
humility and the
Eating
drug's
them is
charisma
weird
can't
enough.
compare to an adventurer's charm.
Oh, probably right. I guess some adventurers like to explore caves and old forests. And others like to explore the
I
bottom
really
of the
need to
bottom.
remember to keep my mouth shut around that
Guess
guard.
which one I am.
He always tries to catch me out on something.
Right. So, one day we're at some inn and he's gobbling down the slope while I'm gobbling down the ale. He's eaten about the half of it when he gets up and goes
I do
outside
love
to,
when
you know,
customers
drop his
brag.
own little hawk in the
Sometimes
hay.
I wish they'd just leave their hands
He
where
tells me to watch his stew, as if anyone would put that poison in their mouth but him. Thing is, my head's spinning from all the ale, and pretty soon my arms are spinning too. Especially when one of them bards starts chirping.
these drunks get louder and less
Take a
charming
guess.
every
The
night.
big oaf came back right when it hit the floor. Now, I'm expecting things to go airborne. Mugs, flagons, benches, alchemy tables.
I do miss
But
having a
he
proper
just
home to go back to.
walked away.
Haunted room just as
Didn't
easy.
say a word.
But
Would have
maybe
been
one day.
easier if he just let me have it. New friends aren't necessarily good friends. It's hard to find decent company. Most people you talk to, it's like reading some 10-volume tome about the shape of Nord beards. At least with Gore, I managed to keep awake long enough for him to bore me.
From this tavern life.
I said it was stupid. But on the other hand, everyone's got their quirks. Gore's is Horker's too. Worse yet, he spent a week up north gathering that meat. And I don't know how he does it. To me, killing Hawkers is duller than an Altmer mating ritual.
The lads would love it.
Those things are like watching paint dry on a portrait of lint. That's right. Heard they got a bunch of real fat ones by Lake Yorgrim. Figure they clubber a few and bring them back as a peace offering.
To an adventurer's charm.
Good point. If I really wanted to show the big elf I cared, I wouldn't have just any old hawker. I heard up north they got one as big as a galleon and as ugly as an orc's first wife. Problem is, I'm not so good at finding stuff. Losing stuff? No, I'm the queen of that. Finding? Not so much. You what? Are you serious? By Morris's cheese breath you are. Well, far be it for me to talk you out of something stupid. Nah, the Horkers here are too small, but Hadring says there's a Horker so big it sunk an entire ship somewhere up north. They call it a brine hammer. We should head on over there. You can take the lead, seeing how excited you are to do this. I'm more of a follower anyway.
Maybe I should start flirting a little less. Some of these
What
lads
is
are
it?
too serious.
Alright, but don't take too long, else I'll have to kill this thing without you.
Besides combat and
No one
training,
ever comes
I
to
do
this
enjoy
dump.
a good read every now and then.
Ain't much to
After
tell.
all,
I
knowledge is
tried being
power.
a soldier for the Empire until I realized that I hate taking orders. I thought about training warriors, but I hate giving orders more than taking them. I thought about becoming a beggar, but they make little more than sell swords. I thought maybe I become a priest, until I remembered that the only god I worship is coin. So I decided to become an adventurer, because pretty much anyone qualifies. About time.
These drunks get louder and less charming every night, it seems.
ちょっと見てくれ。健闘を祈る。
Enough of that.
Oh, these boots
Nani
pinch
ko?
something awful.
Konnichiwa.
But they do make
A
my
cheap
legs
drink
feel
coming right
nice.
up. And if you ever feel
Try
like
to be a bit
spoiling
more
me,
confident
who
like
knows
the
what you
other
might get to
girls.
see. Would you maybe get me a drink too, Master? I'd love to stay and be good company for you. You're such a sweetheart. Maybe I'll even let you admire more of these curves in private.
Maybe
I bet
should
you're one of
start
those who
learning
likes
some
to
of those
dominate a
techniques,
poor
though.
sweet woman like
Might come
me.
in handy after
Well,
a long
honey,
night at the
you'll
opera.
have to get in line.
Sometimes I think we're just easy prey for these scoundrels. We're always out late, always alone.
Feeling a little soft around the edges? Our rough lover will have you handling your blade and other things, like
Need
never
something?
before.
The Nords used to call me Morris, the living Draugr, because of my prowess on the battlefield and the fear I struck in my enemies. Now they just call me Morris the Draugr on account I should be dead. I mean, I get it. Maybe I can't swing ebony the way she likes it. Maybe some days I wake up and my knees burn or my back starts barking like my old lady used to when I forgot to burn the trash. But I'm hardly an old man, even for a warrior. Some say I'm still with the swords of 20 men. I've been saying it for years.
I could use some new lingerie. Something lacy, something black. The lads would love it.
Listen, you Horker's uncle, at some point tonight I'm going to walk outside, find the lover constellation, and pray Dremora beds your mother. Then I'm going to come back and knock your teeth in. But first,
Sometimes I think
I need
about
another
leaving the air
drink.
and finding a safer job. But then again, where would that
What
leave
is it
me?
now? I never see this orc everyone keeps muttering about. Maybe he opened his trap once too often and got himself killed. Or worse, he's sober.
Maybe one day I'll find the courage to stand up for myself like those other girls
Not
did.
something.
Maybe one day.
Someone. But all started when I was exploring the Forsaken Cave in Eastmarch. I was being chased by Draugr, and like a dumb mule, I stepped on a pressure plate. Next thing I know, I'm taking a battering ram to the gut. Shattered just about every rib I own, and other parts I didn't know I had. I crawled back to Windhelm, lay in bed at Candlehearth Hall for 2 straight days. Couldn't even breathe without
He always tries to catch me out on
Then I
something.
get this message from an urchin. Said Orthus and Dario wanted to see me about a job. I told him to go screw. The next day, Orthus himself graces me with his presence. I tell him again to go screw. Said I'm too tired to be running his errands. Orthus says it's a milk run, a training exercise for new Legion recruits. They were escorting a minimum security shipment to Solitude.
But then again, those bandits
All
are
I
always
had to
causing
do was
trouble.
show the little cave rats what to look out for. They'd even be another senior soldier from the, what do you call it? Pennius Ocularium?
I do love it when the customers are rowdy.
Yeah, my ancestors were
Sometimes I wish they'd
Colovian.
just leave
We
their
founded
hands
the
where I can see
Empire.
them.
It's the Nibonese who made up all these little weird names and rituals. A warrior doesn't go advertising his injuries. Lets the bad guys know where to stick it. You bet your sweet roll I
These
did.
drunks get louder
A
and
man
less
in my
charming
position
every
doesn't
night, it
pass
seems.
up easy coin, even if it means dealing with Nibonese worms. The trouble was, this senior Legion officer took exception to my reputation. Didn't like that the recruits looked up to an outsider. Especially a Colovian Imperial dressed in the armor of a Frosthugger. He tried to put me in my place. Said stuff that'd make the Daedra cover their ears. But I can give it as good as I can take it. Not that it was hard, what with that stupid Legion skirt he was wearing. Problem is, my insults worked too well. See, we were just up the road from here when we got ambushed by a snow bear. Uh-oh is right. Instead of trying to show me up, this Legionnaire coward gives way, forcing me to take the lead. I swear this bear came at me like I killed its sister, and I couldn't even lift Ebony over my head. The weight and the pain dropped me to the ground. Now I ain't no lily liver, but sometimes a man has to swallow his pride and ask for help. If only I asked. Instead, I looked back and screamed. Funny thing is, the officer, even the recruits, they were all laughing. I was so hysterical, I didn't even notice the stupid bear was licking my face. Well, my ribs hurt so bad, they had to carry me here. All the while, this Legionnaire has a grin on his face like an open wound. Not a week later, and there isn't a bard in Skyrim who isn't telling the tale of Morris the Draugr and the bear who pitied him. You blind or just slow. Ebony's my sword, my girl. She always has my back, and I mean that literally. Like I said, used to be. I reckon I wouldn't be here in this slow belly of an inn if she still was. We met in one of them forts. I was feeding Ebony a nice plate of bandit breakfast when I found one of them still in her bedroom. Now I ain't no softy. I'll kill a man in his sleep. This one, though, she just rolls over and looks at me with those big doe eyes just as I was about to take her head. So I took her maiden head instead. Well put. Truth be told, the second we got to the temple in Riften, my feet were colder than a necromancer's girlfriend. I was just about to turn my ass around and run straight for Cheydinhall, but then I met the priest. Real skeptic, that one. When he said the line, now and forever, I could hear the doubt in his voice. Now, me being the stubborn type, I decided to oblivion with this priest, so I said the words, now and forever. I figured, hey, we already had the now part down. How hard was forever?
Somewhere quiet, where I can raise a family in peace.
Not quite. The old lady got on me like any big Nord cow, but it wasn't all scars and prison bars. Not like some of these fur huggers made it seem. I don't know about you, but I find a lot of these Talos lovers like to boast about the strength of their women as much as the power of their god. Then the first chance they get, they go out and marry some Breton girl that can fit in their palm. I stuck by my old lady. Reckon half the time she deserved it, the other half she needed to let it out just to keep her head straight. Ain't easy giving up a bow and arrow for the kettle and broom. In a word, it was her father. I know that's how it usually is, but approval was one thing this bootlicker didn't lack. No, if anything, he approved too much.
Maybe I should take up cooking lessons.
Thing is, before I came
maybe I
riding
could
in on my
have
white
my own
horse, him and the old lady weren't exactly on speaking terms. Us tying the knot changed that. As far as he was concerned, I was some dashing milk drinker who came and rescued his princess like in them stories.
You really don't.
He started hiring mercenaries to
I don't
accompany me,
feel right.
which ain't my
There,
thing.
there.
Morris, the living
I
drogger,
daydream about
doesn't
an
work
adventure
with
that
hired
whisks me away
thugs.
from this tavern life.
Not to mention sellswords
I do
ain't
love it when
exactly
they try to
brimming with
resist,
honor.
But come on now.
But I didn't
Who
have
could
the heart to
resist
tell
these
the old
guys?
man no. It didn't take them long to figure out it was easier to kill the man with the gold than to take on a nest of angry draugers. When we got inside the
Maybe I
barrow,
should
I
start
charged
learning
on
some of
ahead
those
like a
healing
dumb
spells.
beast.
Might come in handy after
It
a
wasn't
long
until
night
I
at
was
the inn.
halfway through the dungeon that I realized the yellow bellies had locked the door
I
behind
should
me.
really start saving up for a
I
new
ain't no
dress.
good with locks,
This
so it
one's
took me
getting a
all
bit
night to get out the
snug.
back way.
Not
By
that
the time I
last
got
one
home,
was.
both the old lady and her father were dead. No, I reckon I'll be the one to leave her first. Just as well. I can't bear the thought of some filthy grave robber putting his hands on
I
her
do
waist.
love it when the customers are rowdy.
Enough of this
But
somber
sometimes I
talk.
wish they'd
It's a
just
big
leave their
world,
hands
and there
where
are
I can
still
see
plenty of ladies to bed and caves to raid.
ベッドもビールも
Need
ひどい
something?
もんだと思う。
I keep telling Hadring there ain't no ore in his nose, but that doesn't stop him from mining it. Speak up, and there's a pine tree living in my trousers, but you don't see me bothering you about it. There's a cellar door that leads to the back of the inn, and if he passed through here,
I've heard
I was
whispers
probably
about
too
some
drunk
girls
to
go missing.
notice.
I hope it's just a rumor. But then
See ya.
again, those bandits are always causing trouble.
人嫌いというのは確かなようだ。人と交わり
These
たがら
drugs
ない
get
のだ。
louder and less charming every night, it seems.
だが違うな。それは偽装だろう。おそらく人と話がしたいのだ。
Secrets slip about
人
my
も好
friends
きなのだ。
while pouring
だが
drinks for the patrons.
人との交わりを断たねばならぬ。そういう決まりだからな。哀れな話だな、実に。ここに他の宿屋があるのか？他にどこで飲めるってんだ？おい、危ない！
Ugh. Hey,
The beggar's humility and the drunk's charisma can't compare to an adventurer's charm.
I've seen mud crabs that are smarter. much food as I can get. I'm a growing boy. Yes, I'm listening.
Just because you carry a sword, it doesn't make you tough. It's how you use it. What was that?
Get back here.
Bruce?
Get back here. Your swordplay is sloppy. Your flaws are evident. Your defeat is assured.
Must be gone now.
A dragonborn. So, do you have ancestors that are dragons? Really disturbing if you did.
What was that? trust you.
Keep it up, and one of these days you will become like me. Yeah, you wish. Yes, I'm listening.
Just because you carry a sword, it doesn't make you tough. It's how you use it.
Yes? Did you want something? So you see yourself as a bit of a blacksmith, huh? I bet you love to get... Do you have something to say?
Emotion is prohibited.
Drag... Coming back. I want to kill one.
Alchemy, when done right, can provide a discernible combat advantage.
いらっしゃい。欲しいものがあったら何なりと。確かこの辺に綺麗なカップがあったんですけど。
健闘を
Was
祈
there
る。
something you wanted?
ベッドもビールも ひどいもんだと思う。
I bet you're one of those who likes to dominate a poor sweet woman like me. Well, honey, you'll have to get in line.
あら、何か必要なでも
No. Alright, we're here. You got a plan, or do you just want to charge in stabbing? I like it. Just don't try and be cute and go for my backside. It ain't that big. Hold on. Did you hear that? More... Importantly, do you smell that? That island over there, look!
Hey! 誰かいるの?
Bruce, Roger! Bruce, Roger! Bruce, Roger!
Spider Divines, we did it. Well, mostly you did, but I watched. Some people won't even do that. Smart ones, anyway. In any case, I was thinking, we could bring some of this Hulk meat back to Gore. but I won't help him, seeing as he cooks as bad as he sweats. Problem is, we can't take this meat to just any chef. It would be like taking a fine piece of ebony to an Altmer blacksmith. Well, I heard there was some fancy Breton from High Rock living in the Reach. Cooks with magic or potions or something like that. I figure a chef like that must be completely mad. Mad enough to want to cook hawkers. Well, he's a Breton and sells health potions that taste like toffee. Except the potions aren't good for anything but a paper cut. Now they say he's cooking with magic. Magic. A guy like that probably works with all sorts of crazy meats. Good. Make sure to get a good hunk of meat from that thing. I'd say wrap it in ice, but Skyrim's pretty much one big glacier.
Light armor does provide a lot of tactical advantages, just don't get hit.
One I would actually consider worshipping. He really understands how to have a good time and burst in buildings with alcohol. Quite right. Was there something you wanted?
I was sure I had something.
Was there something you wanted?
Who are you? By the Divines, you're here for me, aren't you? I swear I tried. I was gonna do it. Please, don't hurt me. Wait. So, you aren't here to kill me? Oh, thank the Divines. Jari Ra sent me here. He wanted me to extinguish the fire in the lighthouse. I don't know why I said yes. We used to be friends. At least, I thought so. Then he started having me do things. Things I regretted later. Started out with just stealing. I would walk into the store and Jari Ra would distract the shopkeep and I'd stuff anything I could into my tunic. I still remember that first time. I was so scared. We were in radiant raiment and Jari Ra was trying on clothes a Jarl couldn't afford. There was a circlet on the counter, gold and emerald. And Dari never even noticed when I switched it with the copper one I was wearing. I felt horrible afterward. But Jari Ra always found a way to make it seem okay. Those haughty knife-ears got what they deserved, he said. And when we went drinking at the inn to celebrate, Jari Ra would pat me on the back and give a toast in my honor. Mazaka said the same thing. Looking back, you're both right. I hated stealing. But when Jari Ra gave his toast, everyone would smile and salute me. It was the camaraderie that I wanted, the feeling that I belonged. I was at the skeever when Jari Ra came by with his marauder friends, the ones that make me nervous. But Jari Ra put his arm around my shoulder and mussed my hair with those coarse fingers of his. That always puts me at ease. Then he tells me about this new plan of his. He says he needs me, that nobody can do it but me. I think one of his gang snickered. But Jari Ra told him to shut his mouth, and that made me feel good. The plan was to extinguish the flame at the lighthouse so that the ships would lose sight of the docks and crash. I didn't want to do it. Stealing is one thing, but killing a man? But Jari Ra assured me no one would die. He said they'd thank us for rescuing them. And I believed him. Please, I implore you, reconsider. I should know I almost made the same mistake. I was standing before the fire, holding a tankard of water, when Mazaka came up behind me. When I saw him, my face flushed with blood, and I froze. I thought he was going to attack me, or have me arrested. But you know what he said? The weather is nice today, is it not? On these days, he said, you can get a good view of the stars. Then he pointed to a constellation in the sky. It was the Shadow. He said, as a Khajiit born under the Shadow, many told him his destiny was to be a brigand or a thief. He told me how he spent his life as a pirate, and still misses the clash of sabers and the ocean smell tickling his whiskers. But in the end, he preferred the quiet life. And It wasn't until he reached an old age that he learned we make our own destiny. Then he invited me downstairs for tea, and I've been with him ever since. I do. I'm not proud of the things I did, but it's Jari Ra's fault. He used me. I would have never been in that situation if it weren't for him. It's not cowardice. I told you, Jari Ra manipulated me. Mizaka said I'm a good man, and I never wanted to hurt anyone. It's not that simple. I never had many friends growing up, people who genuinely cared about me. When you go to a tavern, they have stools and tables. I always opted for the stool. It's hard sometimes, drinking alone. Especially when so many are in the company of friends. I used to hate the way they laughed. Jari Ra noticed too. Said they barked like hounds. That's how we met. Suddenly I was the one sitting at the tables, drinking in good cheer, laughing. It turns out I laugh like a mammoth grunts. It's funny, but even now I look back on those times fondly. I might have been a fool, but I don't see how I had any other choice. Not in a tavern. I needed to come here. But how could I have known that? I would have never guessed that an old Khajiit lighthouse keeper would become my best friend. Not officially, but I assist Mizaka any way I can, in exchange for room and board. If he were to pass on, perhaps he might recommend me for the job. Or maybe I could tend to the lighthouse in Dawnstar. I don't know if I've earned the right to be the keeper here. There's still so much I need to atone for. Usually one of the Jarl's Thanes has one of his attendants get a recommendation. Naturally, the previous keeper's input carries a lot of weight. Once the names are recommended, the captain of the guard checks the candidates for potential criminal history. That's what worries me most. I've never been officially accused of a crime, but Jari Ra's reputation could come back to haunt me. I thank you for your kind words. May the divines keep the flame of righteousness alive in both our hearts. It's peaceful. I don't yearn for company like I used to, nor am I afraid of being alone. Although sometimes when I head up to the docks for supplies, I get a little anxious. It's like learning to ride a horse again. Pretty much every young boy is taught how to ride a horse and nock an arrow. But not all of us can be soldiers, or rich enough to buy a horse. So you kind of forget how. That's what it feels like, being around crowds. Like everyone's staring at me. And when people say hello, I sometimes lose the words. Can you imagine forgetting something so simple as a greeting? Yes, and Mizaka is here too. Although with him, mostly I just listen. Farewell.
なんと、まさかに若いお客とは。おい、危ないぞ。
ああ、ちょっと。
Yeah? Okay. Meet me in Markarth near the chef's quarters. That's likely where we'll find him.
その効果はすでに現れている。アイスランナーは予定通りに港に入れていない。灯台の助けがなければアイスランナーは西側の浅瀬を大きく迂回することになり、東の海岸で座礁するだろう。姉妹のディージャがブラックブラッド略奪団と共に座礁船に向かう。お前が来ることは伝えてある。急ごう。なんとか向こう側の見張りを足止めしてみる。ディージャと自分はここソリチュードにおける彼らの代理みたいなものだ。捕まらない限りブラックブラッド略奪団の者が表に姿を現すことはない。ブラックブラッド略奪団はかなり名が知れ渡っている。やり方が手荒くなったと思われるのは避けたいんだ。おい、危ないぞ。
I'm all ears. Well, not literally.
I
of
get
course.
lost sometimes.
Oi, abunai! Just because you carry a sword, it doesn't make you tough. It's how you use it.
I have something to say. What is it?
Move it, move it!
I'm 11 years old, and I can talk.
Huh? おい、危ない。誰かいるの？
Enemy presence confirmed. Engaging. What was that? Craft your potions judiciously.
Dragon form.
みんなの話は本当か？ホワイトランにドラゴンが閉じ込められていたのに、お前が逃がしたって、一体なぜだ？
太古の言語では、あなたをドバーキンと呼ぶのよ、ドラゴンね。
Another adventurer. You must be here seeking to sample my culinary potions. They are known throughout Tamriel as the first potions capable of healing the body while delighting the palate. I apologize, but I am not a common house chef who patronizes random citizens. Now, if you'll excuse me...
Listen, you perfume-wearing sausage drinker, and listen well. My friend over here may have asked you nicely. And that's because neither of us thought you were stupid enough not to see we weren't really asking. Well, it turns out you're mighty stupid. And if you want to keep that blister wort you keep between your legs, you'll cook us some hog stew right now.
Why, I never... Ugh, fine. In that case, seeing as I have little choice, I will cook your stew. I trust you brought the meat, or must I magic a hawker out of thin air?
It's Conjura Hawker, Breton. You just get dumber with every word. Anyhow,
So you're a real smooth
get it
talker,
from the
huh?
pot.
Well, don't think you can talk
By
your way
the
around me.
divines.
I know all the moves.
The
I probably
marbling,
invented half
the
of them.
texture. This is the finest slab of meat I have ever laid my hands upon.
Yeah?
Yes, of course. Such a fantastic dish can only be wrought by the hands of Clario Moorsley. But I am without my assistant, and she fetches my ingredients. Perhaps you two can get them for me, or just you. The other belligerent one I do not trust with such a delicate task. Let me see. I will need a lavender and a tomato, of course, but this will be no ordinary stew. I will need a potion of resist cold, fire salts, and a scroll of repel undead to ward off contamination. And carrots as well. A good stew could always do with a few carrots. Do you think you can remember that? Of course you can. You are not as dense as that one. Hurry back. Even with my alchemical preservation methods, this meat will only stay fresh for so long. I came because I heard a rumor that the Jarl's chef was a friend of the gourmet. I wished for him to set up a culinary duel where I would be declared once and for all the finest chef in all of Tamriel. But the fool wouldn't even acknowledge his relationship with the impostor. Naturally, I took this as a sign of his surrender. I suspect not. I simply hope he does not cower away and retire. It would be much harder to topple the myth of his potage than the actual dish. I am experimenting with magic as a culinary tool. I had begun with restoration in an attempt to remove the unwanted side effects from my earlier work. I have abandoned that practice to focus on the effects of illusion magic and how it can influence one's sense of taste. You see, every person has a different palate, and this means a different experience, regardless of whether one eats the same food. Sating one's palate is not just a product of how a meal tastes, but how the mind perceives an object's flavor. Well, my latest dish combines the alchemical properties of creep clusters and giant toe as additives in foods heavy with starch. The result is a lighter, fluffier bread and potatoes that melt in your mouth. The dilemma is getting patrons to try something cooked with the toenail clippings of one of those primitive ogres. If a courage spell could be activated by the aroma of a dish, it could deflect any fears rooted in perception. Then, as a chef, I am loath to discover what you don't like. Better to leave that a mystery. Greater than the mystery of how you subsist on a diet of meat and mammoth cheese? I think not. Ask questions if you must, but I suggest you read the book that I have left in the chef's quarters. It is quite thorough. Although at times I admit it is far too didactic. It does not capture the spirit of my invention, for I am an artist, an auteur. Well, unlike some of my more unadventurous peers, my cuisine is the product of my creative vision. It pushes the boundaries of what is food. This is not to say my creations are merely limited to sating the appetite. While Julianos blessed me with wisdom, Stendhal has gifted me with mercy. That is what led me to developing the world's first delectable health potion. Good for the body, pleasing to the palate. How dare you insinuate that avarice and not art was my motivation? And for your information, the potion does work. Not as effectively as a traditional potion, but it suffices for minor cuts and bruises. Exactly. I have provided the innovation and the inspiration. Let the masses figure out how to mask the imperfections and occasional side effects. You must understand the art of cooking is a very delicate process. The recipe, the quality of ingredients, and the skill of the chef all affect the end product. If one were to mix a restore potion out of wheat and Blue Mountain flour, he may be tempted to mix in a piece of honeycomb to sweeten the taste. The result might be a health potion that simultaneously ravages his stamina. Perhaps. I know of mages who add a little extra moon sugar to their magica potions for flavor. Yet, when they drink said potion, their enemies double in number and grow fangs that touch the floor. But that is a risk we must take. Taste is paramount. That is my duty as chef. Nor do I look like a cook, for I'm far too handsome to be any of the three. But you are right. I do not have the training in this field. My assistant, Miley Hockey, handles such matters. She is also a writer and publishes my various recipes in culinary musings. I regret she was unable to accompany me on this trip, as one of my dishes had some unwanted consequences which I do not wish to speak of. I regret she was unable to accompany me on this trip, as one of my dishes had some unwanted consequences which I do not wish to speak of. Let us just say, I will not cast aspersions on her husband if he leaves her for another woman. Or something that at least resembles one. It is not my fault, mind you. Miley is quite devoted to my craft, and at times she will sample things that are purely experimental in nature. Then, if you'll excuse me, I must work on my next recipe. It involves conjured ingredients which enhance a dish as it is being cooked, but can damage flavor if left in the final meal. It is merely a theory, mind you. I will need to speak with Miley to learn if that is even feasible. Need something? Then, if you'll pardon me, I need to update some leaflets. It occurred to me that another advantage of my potions is being able to distinguish between health and magicka by virtue of taste. And before you tell me they have different colors, let me remind you that in the cauldron of battle, one does not have time to inspect his bottle. Yet if he sips and recognizes the flavor, he will know which of my potions he imbibes.
アントンはいかにもリーチ出身って感じだ。本人には言うなよ。
I thought we might help full-time from being so frosty. But it's better we use it for this. What is it? Ain't much to tell. I tried being a soldier. I thought about training, I thought about becoming a beggar. They make little more than sell. So I decided to become an adventurer. Because pretty much anyone qualifies. What are we waiting for? Let's go grab ingredients before the meat is dead.
Yes, I'm listening. Do you have something to say?
犬は気にしないで。夕食前は落ち着かないんです。
城の食事を全て作らねばならないの。手伝いは以外も当然だ。
Dragons are coming back. I want to kill one. I'm all ears. Well, not literally, of course. What's on your mind? Do you have something to say? I bet you have explored a few damn dark.
Where did you get to?
死に損ないね
true what they sing about you? Perhaps you could show me what really happens when a Dragon Lord comes? never tried shouting inside a large cave. I once had a whole conversation with myself inside a cave. When I said hello, my voice would say hello back. The conversation did get a bit repetitive after a while, though.
Solitude. The sheer scale and size of it never gets old.
Let me guess. You want to talk?
それよ、素晴らしいわ。思った通り頼りになるわね。お金はないけれど、ウィンターホールドのウィザードたちのために覚えた技を教えてあげるわ。そうね、声を休ませないと。
Greetings.
Hey there.
Well, well. 銀融詩人の大学で一番若い銀融詩人です。どうぞ何なりと。
I'm all ears. Well, not literally, of course. What is it? I'm all ears.
いや、それはできない。
Not literally, of
少しも
course.
引っかからない。それにやることがたくさんあってな。ものすごい数の不快な奴らを相手にするんだ。反対ばかりする者、愚か者、中傷する者。いいか、死刑執行人はもう3日も寝てないんだ。
お前は自分に厳しすぎるぞ。親愛なるペラギウス。狂乱の中で人を殺めた者よ。お前がいなかったら人民は何をしたらよいのだ。舞うか、歌うか、笑うか、長生きして。お前は最高のセプティム王だったぞ。いや、まあマーティンの次に最高か。だが奴は竜人になったからな。卑怯な奴さ。あの癒しむべき事件のせいであそこにいたんだ。素晴らしいひとときだったぞ。蝶、血、狐、切り取られた首。ああ、それとチーズ。チーズのためなら死んでもいい。
ああ、そうだ。お前の言う通り、以前に数えきれないほど何度も。
フルック。さて、そっちがその気ならおいとまさせてもらおうかな。ごきげんよう。聞こえたか。
そうだ、行け。霧のない課題や責務の邪魔をしないでくれ。
礼な。旧友を10年や20年もてなすぐらいいいじゃないか。本当か？早く教えてくれ。将下か長官か。待て、分かったぞ。アルゴニアンの愛人の背中に書かれた脅迫文か。あらいいな。どうだ情妙の者よ、早く言ってくれ。私の時間は無限じゃないんだぞ。本当は無限だ。ちょっとしたジョークだな。冗談はさておき、早く教えてくれ。本当か？誰がそんなことを。待て、言うな。当ててやろう。モラグか、いやリトルティムか、玩具屋の息子のライサンダス王の亡霊か、あるいはそうだ、スタンリーだな。あのパスボールから来た喋るグレープフルーツだよ。どう考えてもそんなはずはないか。だろ。はっ、どうでもいい。正直知りたいとも思わんよ。お楽しみをぶち壊すこともない。だがもっと大事なことは、ちっぽけちんけな使い捨ての小さき者が本当に私を説得できるかだな。そんなのは馬鹿げている。誰が相手か分かっているのか。大当たり。いや、半分は間違いだ。私はマッドゴッドだ。実際にもマッドゴッドだ。世襲ごと私から私へと数千年ごとに受け継がれるのだ。そういうわけだから私のことをアンマリーと呼んでもいいぞ。だが生きたまま皮を剥がれたお前の腹渡でイカれる同胞に縄跳びをしてもらうのが大好きならの話だ。そうでないなら私を狂乱のデイドラの王子シェオゴラス様と呼ぶのだ。お会いできて光栄だね。さて、それと難しい問題だな。そうだろう。正直なところ頭が変になったデイドラにどれほど休息が必要なのだ。だからこうしよう。私は去る。そうだ、もういい。休日はもう終わった。退屈な日常に戻ろう。というわけで一つだけ条件がある。まずお前が出口を見つけてくれ。頑張れよ。はっ、情妙の者が引っ掛けに気づく瞬間は全くたまらんな。そうじゃなきゃ面白くない。周りを見る気になったか。あえて言うがここはソリチュードの植物園ではない。お前はここがどこかわかるか。本当はどこにいるかわかるか。偽りの緑が茂った皇帝ペラギウス3世の心へようこそ。そうだ、お前は死者の心の中にいるのだ。狂乱の中で人を殺めた王の心さ。考えていることはわかるぞ。剣と呪文と隠密とその他のくだらないこと全部を使えばこの難局を乗り切れるのかとな。そうだろう。あるいはババジャック。どうだどうだ。こいつは予測不能だったよな。悪いな、今は魚フライを頬張ってて忙しいんだ。とっても気難しくなるうまさだぞ。おお、それは良い選択だ。まあ私にとってはな、皆が必死になってお前を狙うというのは非常に面白いではないか。お前にとってはそうでもなかろうが。良いか、ペラギウスの母親はなんというか独特だったのだ。まあ大したことではないがセフティム家の者としては普通だからな。あの女は恐怖を包丁のように振り回したのだ。あるいは包丁を振り回して逃げさせたのか。その点がいつもはっきりしない。ああ、だが彼女は息子をしっかり教育したのだ。ペラギウスは幼い時に周りが危険だらけだと知った。 いつ何時誰が襲ってくるのかわからないと。おほほ、お前にはわからないと思っていたぞ。脅威が去ってペラギウスは自分が安全だと思い込んでいる。つまり奴を救ったのだ。ある意味我々はそれだけ家路に近づいたということだな。
Do you have something to say?
Yeah.
夢の道を進んだな。お前にとっては残念なことだが、ペラギウスは幼い頃から恐ろしい夜に苦しんだのだ。かわいそうなペラギウスが目覚めるために必要なもの、それを見つけるだけでよい。奴の恐れには組みしやすかろうがしつこいぞ。
We need more young people in Skyrim. That would make things 10 times more fun. A drunken person is a happy person.
さて、実に誇らしいではないか。これでペラギウスは元気になったし、お前は事を順調に運んでいるというわけだ。我々が家路に着く時も近いぞ。
Was there something you wanted?
ああ、これは悲しい道のりだ。ペラギウスは多くの者を憎み恐れた。暗殺者、野犬、アンデッド、クロパン。だが最も深く鋭い憎しみは自分自身に向けられていたのだ。奴の自分自身への攻撃はここで全てわかる。攻撃はいつも自分の一番弱い部分へと向けられている。自己嫌悪がペラギウスの怒りに火を注ぐのだ。だが奴の自信は一度叩くたびに縮んでしまう。だからうまくバランスを取らなければならない。よくやったぞ。ペラギウスはついに自分を愛することができるようになった。そして自分以外の全員を憎み続けるだろう。
Yes, I'm listening.
Hey!
こんなことわざを知ってるぞ。人の好みは知りようもなし。まあそんな感じのやつだ。情妙の者は好奇心で身を滅ぼすな。どうしても知りたいなら教えてやる。ペラギウス三世だ。教王と呼ばれていたか。タムリエルの皇帝だったのは400年ほど前の話か。おそらくお前もペラギウスの宣告のことは知っているな。死のとこで。あ、思い出したぞ。奴は禁止したのだ。死を。そうだ、死が違法になったのだ。ペラギウスの心の中だよ、間抜け。おや、こいつは初体験かね。直したはかなり主観的な言葉だな。治療したの方がずっと良くないか。発疹とか顔に矢が刺さった時と同じじゃないか。まあいい。心ない情妙なものにしてはうまくやったし、死にもしなかった。約束は守らないとな。そういうわけでおめでとう。お前は自由の身だ。私は心変わりが多いことで有名だ。だから早く行った方がいいぞ。嘘じゃないぞ。
Yes? Did you want something?
かつてタムリエルの狂乱皇帝と呼ばれていた。だが今は退屈なぐらいまともだ。本当はまともなやつだとずっと思ってたがな。シバリングアイルズに戻ってきたな。いない間にハスキルが抱える問題には本当にびっくりさせられる。忘れ物がないか確認しよう。一丁羅はよし、あごひげはよし、荷物はどこに置いた。
マスター、俺を連れ戻しに、つまり家に戻れるってことですね。よかった、今すぐにでも。
さて、祝福はもう十分だな。では次の仕事の話をする。
Have you ever woken up in the morning with a big cock in your ear? That damn bird squeaked so loud that I cooked it for dinner.
ワバジャックはお前に授けよう。私からの。
Luckily, the farmer didn't find out about it.
元気でな。ニューシェウスに寄ることがあったら私を訪ねてくれ。イチゴのトルテをご馳走するぞ。一期一会のテレッター。
Let me guess. You want to talk? Let me guess. You want to talk?